TERA is dead as an official game. The newer fan-run build goes live on August 21st, and if you ever loved this one, that might be the last clean classic start you'll ever get. The pitch is the classic TERA feel without the classic TERA jank, and the whole promise stands or falls on every hated thing this build ripped out. The cleanest proof is the change veterans kept pointing at. Apex, gone. Not patched around, removed at the core. Its powers folded straight back into the class kit. That's the move that makes the returning players stop and say, wait, they actually did it. So here's what you actually get back that's different from the TERA you remember. A Classic Plus isn't just a reskin, it's ground up rebuild running on a client version 100.02, the newer 64-bit build. That engine can carry custom content the old 32-bit client never could, which is why this team can ship things a frozen private server couldn't touch. And it's deliberately not frozen at one patch. The website says skills and systems are pulled from the TERA versions where each one felt best, then tuned from the tester feedback. That is the smart survival move, honestly. Nostalgia servers usually die the moment they lock in the wrong snapshot and call it history. The full roster is here, all 13 classes. A warrior shows what the rebuild looks like. Assault stance runs it as a damage dealer. Defensive stance flips it into an evasion tank, with the old toolkit intact. As for me, I am probably rolling one of the two picks, a ninja or archer. Ninja only being an option because of something we get to later in this video. The team's own line sums up the attitude, shaped by the people who stayed, which means community taste wins over arbitrary authenticity. But the part I care about isn't what they kept, it's what they tore out. And the biggest tier is the first thing returning veterans will feel. Apex and its whole questline are out. The powers that live there get folded back into each class kit, so your class keeps the tools without the added on active skill bloat that's shipped on top. That is the trust line for anyone who quit over Apex and never came back. This is the mechanic people pinned as the moment the game changed course. Data mine videos already circulate on this exact change. You can see the difference before launch, which makes this credit easier than your average promise. The exact per class rebalance isn't fully mapped yet, so I'm sticking to what the team actually show and leaving out the rest. Once the skills are equalized, the team went after the thing that made the leaderboard unwinnable for half the player base. The race animation speed differences are gone. Every race swings at the same speed now. You pick the character you actually want, not the one with the fastest attack frame. That's a genuine competitive fairness fix. The kind of classic purists rarely ship because they treat the jank as a part of nostalgia. Killing it is the right move. The race class wall came down too. Popori can now roll Reaper, Gunner, Ninja, and Valkyrie, which the site claims never worked on any TERA server. A Gunner also opens to Castanic and High Elf Woman, a Brawler to both human genders. The stated goal is every class opens to every race eventually. That one I feel strongly about, honestly, because so many of the classes were locked behind just the alien race back then, and that was ridiculous. Seeing those walls come down is a real win. For a game where the old answer to a competitive class was reroll your whole character, this is a bigger deal than it reads. Character creator gets the same treatment, rebuilt from the ground up, so every in-game hairstyle, hair color, skin color, and eye color is free to everyone, including Maruma's style. Modded faces and adornment joins the roster, plus a few signature NPC looks. Popori males finally get working eye colors, which sounds small until you try to make a Popori you actually liked, fix the classes and the races, and then you reach the part returning players actually came for, the world, and the way leveling finally flows. The original Island of Dawn is restored as a starting zone. Terrans, vegetation, lighting, atmosphere ported piece by piece into the new client, with the new opening sequence and restored classic cutscenes. New characters land on the beach again, not the Stepstone Islegate veterans remember. The throwback kit returns to Sniper's Eye, Mocking Shout, Titanic Rat, Burst of Celerity. The skills early TERA players pinned to the good era are individually named and confirmed, and the leveling dungeons are back. All 11 classic ones, rebalanced for 5-player parties, cleared one after another as the intended path. Bastion of Luck on through Sinestro Manor, Servas, Ascent, all the way up to Kelsyke's Nest at the cap. Every one of them gets a real party. Here's the number that will decide how serious this build feels. The server team says 20 to 65 takes roughly 5 to 6 hours through the dungeon route. I can't confirm that yet, and it's a pre-launch, so treat it as a claim, not a guarantee. Questing stays as the slower, more grounded alternative, and honestly, that is probably the route I take, since I'm here for the nostalgia trip, and I was never big on dungeons anyway. The road to max is shorter, and honestly, as someone who does not love the leveling journey, that is great. But what waits at the top is exactly where the old game fell apart. Endgame runs on 8 fights at launch, 4 entry dungeons, 1 new custom dungeon the team built itself, 2 nightmare modes with reworked bosses, and Heaven's Arena as a boss rush. Building custom content is a big sign, honestly. A team that writes its own dungeons is seriously about keeping the server alive, not just dragging in a frozen build back online. RK9 Kennel follows off the release as the gear cap challenge. The gear is where the design gets interesting. Morn Shard for PvE, a Sky Shard for PvP, both enhancing from +1 to +12. The two share one tradable material economy, so PvE feeds PvP gear and the PvP feeds the PvE gear, and no dungeon or battleground slot goes to waste. That is exactly how you run a PvE and PvP split. Each side keeps the other one moving, so neither one turns into a dead end. Felicarium Quartermaster returns with the separate Sky Shard shop, class-aware intro quest in High Watch hands you the base PvP set, so you can step into battlegrounds without grinding PvE first. The quiet queues are solvable by buying materials of players instead of waiting. Lacan's Prison carries a pity system. The server team claims is about 30 runs for a full class set. Another claim I can't really verify until the game's live. A working gear loop keeps people logging in, and the tooling they stack on top of might be the part nobody expects. The launcher doubles as a mod manager. Browse and install any of the 500+ bundle visual mods in a couple of clicks. No game files to touch. A Shinra meter for damage tracking and TERA custom cooldown ship bundles, and stay current. Every mod page names its creator. The cash shop stance is a pretty clean one too. No pay to win. Nothing in any shop makes you hit harder. Yellow quests pay fashion coupons for cosmetic while you level, and endgame Miruma fashion coins cover most of the old version 31 costumes. A mount speed is also equalized, so no mount becomes a forced gear jack. And Linux players get in too. The game and launcher run under Proton, which is a quiet quality of life win a lot of private servers miss. The whole thing reads like a team that actually wanted this game back, which is exactly why the sober part of this video matters most. Here's the part I don't get to skip. Look, official TERA is offline. Krafton says that it never licensed any private servers, so every option in this page runs without the safety net. The same server admins shut down its earlier Awakening server in mid-April 2026 over a shrinking population. That is the honesty I owe you, because this is a fan-run project with real shutdown risk, and pretending otherwise would be doing you a disservice. Accounts are shared between Classic and Classic Plus, so no separate registration and no manual migration if you already played the server once. Characters do start fresh, because everyone starts fresh. Any TERA or crazy coin spent on a Classic come back as a balance on the new server. So the fresh start is real, but so is the gamble. Waiting is the risky move. Private servers can always disappear overnight with no successor promised to take its place. I want this one to work genuinely, and I can still tell you plainly that it might not last. Both of those things are true at the same time. If any of this sounds like a TERA you want back, honest question too close is so simple. Is this the TERA you actually wanted back, or is the version you're missing something this build still hasn't touched? Drop what you miss most in the comments, and are you in for this fresh start? Because if any of this sounds like the TERA you loved, August 21st is the day to be there. Thanks for the time. See you in the next one. Back to the grind.